Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. We are starting a new fic today that is a multi-chapter one. This one is not written by me. This one is one that I got permission to record. The fic that we're going to be recording today is called Idiots Swipe Left. The author of this fic is keraekun. They have rated their fic for general audiences with no archive warnings. It is a My Hero Academia fan fiction. Some of the relationships that are in this fic are Bakugo Katsuki and Kirishima Eijirou, Midoriya Izuku and Todoroki Shouto, Shinsou Hitoshi and Tetsutetsu, Kyouka Jirou and Yaoyorozu Momo, Iida Tenya and Uraraka Ochako, Ashido Mina and Sero Hanta. The characters that are in this fic are Bakugo Katsuki, Kirishima Eijirou, Tetsutetsu, Utsushi Mikami, Midoriya Inko, Bakugo Mitsuki, original child characters, Midoriya Izuku, Todoroki Shouto, Kaminari Denki, Uraraka Ochako, Iida Tenya, Yaoyorozu Momo, Jirou Kyouka, Todoroki Fuyumi, Todoroki Natsuo, Todoroki Rei, Sero Hanta, and Ashido Mina. Some of the tags for this fic are alternate universe no quirks, soft Bakugo Katsuki, personal trainer Kirishima Eijirou, chemist Bakugo Katsuki, fake/pretend relationship, Kirishima Eijirou is a ray of sunshine, weddings, married Midoriya Izuku/Todoroki Shouto, kissing, making out, hair braiding, domestic fluff, slow dancing, best man Bakugo Katsuki, and strangers to lovers. This fic is about 20,600 words and it's 5 chapters. I'm thinking the chapters are a little bit longer, so I'm thinking I'll do one per. All right, again, this one is called Idiots Swipe Left and it's by keraekun. Here's the summary. Katsuki Bakugou needs a date for this shitty wedding and fast. Preferably some extra who will look good and then fuck off. Somebody dumb enough to lie about being able to tolerate him. Need some arm candy for a wedding. Idiots swipe left. Or Eijirou Kirishima and Katsuki Bakugou fake date for about 0.5 seconds before falling hard for each other over the course of Izuku and Shouto's wedding weekend. Chapter 1. Finding a Date. Katsuki is eating cereal out of a mug, Cheerios with oat milk, fuck you very much, and staring at his refrigerator. Well, more like glaring at it. The entire thing is covered with wedding invites. He rolls his eyes at them. The smiling faces of his friends taunt him, staring back as he swirls his spoon around. Believe it or not, he actually had to go out and buy more magnets to accommodate all the celebratory mail he was receiving from his friends. Wedding invites, baby showers, it was all bullshit. He groans when he notices the encroaching date of what had to be the most obnoxious invite of them all, Deku and Icy Hot. To add insult to injury, he is mid-bite when his phone pings with a text message from the nerd himself. Nerd. Hey Kachan, thanks for coming to my bachelor party this weekend. Sho and I can't wait to meet the guy you've been seeing you told us about at the rehearsal dinner. I was wondering if you had an opinion on the text continues for a couple of paragraphs. The stupid nerd doesn't know when to shut up. Bakugo threads his fingers through his hair. Shit. He's not seeing anyone. He hadn't seen anyone for years. He had almost forgotten. In a moment of drunken pettiness, he had told everyone at the bachelor party he had been seeing someone and that they would be in attendance at the wedding. He's screwed. He needs a date for this shitty wedding, and fast. Preferably some extra who will look good and then fuck off. Someone dumb enough to lie about being able to tolerate him. His mug and spoon clatter against each other in the sink. Fuck it, he says loudly into the quiet of his apartment. He downloads a dating app, quickly choosing some random pictures from his camera roll. A gym selfie, a picture of him and his friends at their college graduation, and a picture of him reading outside that Ochako sneakily took of him once. He chews his bottom lip for a moment, working on a bio. Date me or die, damn it. No, that's not right. He presses the pad of his thumb into the backspace button, trying again. Come with me to my idiot friend's shitty wedding, or else. That probably won't attract anyone worth actually taking. Come with me to my idiot friend's shitty wedding, please. God damn it, why is this so hard? Need some arm candy for a wedding. Idiots swipe left. It'll have to do. Katsuki pockets his phone, heading out for a morning run. He isn't sure what is going faster, his feet or his thoughts. It's not that he had any issue with being single. He wasn't embarrassed about it or anything. It's just that if he was going to date, he wasn't going to settle for some stupid extra. If he was going to be with someone, it was going to be the best someone. It would be the most romantic, beautiful fucking romance any idiot had ever heard of. Maybe he was a little abrasive. It's not like he isn't at least somewhat self-aware at this point in his life. The right person for him would be able to handle that, right? Maybe they would even learn to like that about him. Surely he wasn't so horrible that he wouldn't even be able to find someone to pretend to date him for one stupid wedding weekend, right? Time passes. All I'm saying, Shima, is that you won't know what's out there if you don't try. I don't know, T. You just got lucky meeting Shinsou online. I'm not really sure it's for me, Eijirou says, scratching the back of his neck. I don't know if I'm ready to date anyway, he adds. He and his best bro, Tetsutetsu, are cooling down on treadmills after working out together. You'll never be ready, man. One date, bro. That's all I'm asking. Just try it and we'll leave you alone. I'll give you my word as a man. I'll even help you set up your profile, he adds, wiggling his eyebrows and reaching over to steal Eijirou's phone from his treadmill. Shit. He does not want to go on a date with some random man he doesn't know. Meeting someone online just seemed like a 1 in a million chance. He didn't want to waste a bunch of time sorting through a bunch of random people in hopes of finding one person who seemed nice. All right, I'm going to use this pic from the other day when we just finished lifting. You look like a real man's man in it, bro. Eijirou takes a deep breath in through his nose and pushes it back out through his mouth. Maybe he should play along, at least long enough to get Tetsu off his back. One date couldn't be that horrible, right? He gives his best bro a chance to fiddle with the app, letting him take his time to swipe through for a while. He scans over the profile that had been hastily made for him. It's mostly pictures of him at the gym, along with one photo that T had taken of him about a month ago when they went hiking. His hair is down, and he has a bright smile on his face, standing on top of a mountain. Bro, don't be shy. I already swiped right on some people, so give it some time and see if any of them match with you. Then, just look through your matches and reach out to someone who seems manly, Tetsu says, as they head towards the locker room. Just one date? Eijirou says, raising an eyebrow. One date. Tetsu smiles at him, extending an arm. They shake hands before leaving the locker room to head home. It's not that Eijirou didn't want romance in his life. He just doesn't want to force anything with someone out of fear of being alone. He doesn't want to sit awkwardly with someone he doesn't know over dinner. There was just so much pressure. Dating should feel supportive and fun, not like some chore you had to do. He thinks about it for a good week, wavering back and forth before he finally decides to reopen the app. It's a Friday night and he's spending it alone in his apartment after working at the gym all day. He has serious reservations about connecting with someone online, but honestly, he wants T off his back, and if going on one date will do that, then he'll do it. He starts swiping through, automatically going left for 99% of the men he sees, saying no to anyone who had a picture of them holding a fish in their profile, which was more than he would have expected. There are a few he thinks are handsome and swipes right on, but he isn't going to get his hopes up and expect any of them to match with him. Eventually, a blonde man comes across his screen. He's really beautiful. He has some pictures of him at the gym that are cool. But what really catches his eye is a photo of him reading outside. He's wearing glasses in the picture, unlike the other ones, and it makes him look like a real man of conviction. Eijirou likes that. Need some arm candy for a wedding. Idiots swipe left. Huh, so it seems he just needs someone to come with him to a wedding so that he can impress some of his friends. It sounds a lot better than having to sit through an awkward dinner or something. Eijirou loves weddings. They have cake. He swipes right. You've made a match. The words float across the screen with some hearts. Eijirou's stomach drops, and he's suddenly nervous. What's he supposed to do now? He gulps before pocketing his phone and opting to turn on a Crimson Riot movie instead. It isn't manly of him, but there is no way he's going to message first. But he makes sure to turn notifications on, just in case. Sure enough, he's about halfway through the movie and his bowl of popcorn when his phone pings. Nerves flutter around in his stomach as he pulls up the app to check his messages. Bakugo. So you coming to this wedding or not, shitty hair? Eijirou scoffs when he reads it. Geez, this guy has no tact. He's more than a little abrasive, although it is more interesting than the hey, WYD that he's gotten from the other matches. Eijirou likes that he's straightforward and doesn't seem interested in wasting time. Kirishima, my hair can't be that shitty if you think I'm good enough for your arm candy. Yeah, bro, I'm down to go to this wedding. Tell me more about it. The response is immediately, Bakugo, don't call me bro. I don't need any flirty shit in my life. I don't have time for it. I just need you to come to this wedding and pretend like we've been dating to impress my friends. Eijirou blinks at the message, reading and rereading it. This gorgeous man wants him to show up at a wedding, eat cake, and it doesn't have to be like a real date. Before he can reply, he gets another message. Bakugo, your hair is that shitty, but not as shitty in the hiking photo, I guess. Was he trying to compliment him? Eijirou gets the sense that this Bakugo guy wasn't the best at talking over text. He is intrigued by the idea of a fake date. He won't have to reject the person when it's over, and there won't be any romantic pressure, so he doesn't have to be nervous about the date. Most importantly, it'll get T to stop bugging him about dating. If this guy needed a date to impress his friends, maybe he's in the same boat as Eijirou. It seemed like a plan that would benefit both of them. Eijirou texts back asking for more details about the wedding before agreeing that he would play along and pretend like they had been seeing each other for a while at the event. Kirishima, so are we going to tell your friends we met in jail? Bakugo, fuck no, you idiot. Kirishima, well, we can't just tell them we met online a week before the wedding, can we? Come on, man, we gotta come up with a cute backstory. Bakugo, like I care, just show up for the wedding. Bakugo, oh, and the rehearsal dinner. My idiot friends will think it's weird if you don't show up. Kirishima, how about this? You saw me from across a bar and thought I was the most gorgeous man alive. You basically threw yourself at me. Even though I wasn't really interested, you wore me down eventually. Bakugo, what the hell? No way. Kirishima, ugh, you're no fun. Hold on a second. Did you say rehearsal dinner and the wedding? Bakugo, yeah, what about it? If you're my boyfriend, you can't show up at one and not the other. It'll be suspicious. Kirishima, fine, but I get to pick the backstory on how we met. Something manly and romantic. And I get to call you whatever pet name I want in front of your friends. Bakugo, whatever. Deal, give me your actual number. I hate this fucking app. They exchange numbers and Eijirou does his best to finish the movie he's watching. He's distracted, trying to come up with fun meet-cute stories for him and his new fake boyfriend. He even shoots a text message to Tetsu telling him he's found a date. He feels excited? Time passes. Katsuki doesn't know what possessed him to swipe right on the redhead. That's not true. He does know. It was the hiking picture. The way the man's hair fell over his shoulders, the light hitting him on top of the mountain. He was gorgeous. Katsuki could hardly believe it when they matched, let alone when they had a real conversation. Of course, Kirishima had only agreed to pretend to date him. He obviously was just being nice, or maybe had some of his own friends he wanted to get off his back. There's no way a guy like him would really want to be with him. Katsuki knew he was good looking, but he had been so blunt during their first convo, a total ass like he always is. He had been, well, himself, and somehow it didn't scare the guy off. Kirishima seemed charming, and he was definitely good looking enough to get a real date. Whatever his reasoning, Katsuki was grateful to have landed such a handsome fake date. Izuku was going to lose his shit. After fumbling his way through their first conversation, he was so nervous he literally agreed to let the man come up with their fake backstory. He had come to his senses and demanded that they at least meet briefly in real life, in part to make sure the other man wasn't a catfish, but also so that they could make sure they were on the same page before he brought him around his friends. They decided to meet at a diner close to the gym Kirishima worked at. It turns out the man is a personal trainer, not that Katsuki was surprised. Katsuki got there early, picking a booth by the window so he could stare out at the street. He ordered a cup of coffee and pulled out the book he had recently been reading, pushing his glasses up his nose. He's a few pages in when he feels a shadow standing over him, and Katsuki looks up. The man was in gym clothes, but it seemed like he hadn't worked out in them yet. His shoulder-length hair was pulled into a low ponytail with some strands pulled out, framing his face. He looks good, just like in his pictures. Hey, Katsuki grumbles, putting his book back into his bag and gesturing for the other man to take a seat. The redhead hovers awkwardly by the booth, fidgeting like he wants to do something. Katsuki opens his mouth again, but they speak at the same time. So, you're real. Kirishima starts laughing. Katsuki thinks it sounds like bells. I thought you were catfishing me, bro, his fake date says, scratching the back of his neck. You idiot. Of course I'm real. Katsuki huffs. I thought you were the one catfishing me. He pushes a menu towards Kirishima. Why would you want to pretend to fake date me to help me out anyway? He asks, unable to help himself. Kirishima blinks at him, smiling sheepishly. They are interrupted briefly by the server who takes their orders. So I, sort of promised my best friend I would try dating out. When you said you just needed someone to help you out for a wedding, I thought that would be a good way to get my friend off my back without having to actually, put yourself out there. Katsuki finishes for him. Huh, that made sense. Katsuki feels better knowing that the arrangement will be beneficial to both of them. No. Kirishima starts before looking out the window. Well, maybe. So tell me more about this wedding. Who is getting married exactly? He asks, changing the subject and slurping the soba he had ordered loudly. Katsuki swirls his coffee with his spoon, rolling his eyes as he tries to explain his complicated relationship with the grooms-to-be. How do you explain to a stranger your complicated feelings about your childhood friend turned enemy turned brother? He informs his fake boyfriend that he is also the best man. This, for whatever reason, makes the man light up. Aw, you guys must really care about each other. Are you going to be giving a speech then? We do not, he snaps, glaring down at his food. Yeah, I have to give a stupid speech, he adds after a moment. He's nervous about it. He has no clue what he's going to say. The redhead seems to see right through him. Aw, don't be nervous. I'm sure you'll do great, babe, Kirishima adds, putting emphasis on the pet name. It makes Katsuki's face feel flush. Damn it, we don't have to pretend yet, you idiot. You can't just say shit like that, he hisses. He's had other boyfriends before, but none of them have dared to call him a pet name. Kirishima just laughs, totally unfazed by Katsuki's attitude. We might as well start now, honey. If the story is that we've been seeing each other for a while, we gotta be convincing, right? Kirishima says, wiggling his eyebrows. He has a point. The last thing he would want is for his friends to call his bluff. He would never live that down. The pair of fake boyfriends continue to chat while they eat. Kirishima insists that they get to know each other better, explaining that they should know the basics about each other just in case that came up during the wedding. The redhead talks a lot. Katsuki finds that he doesn't mind listening to him. He spends a long time listening to Kirishima talk about his family, his friends, his job, and his hobbies. Apparently, the redhead is really into the comic book series about Crimson Riot. Bakugo is familiar with him, but he prefers All Might. The two argue about which one is cooler. They get lost in conversation, so much so that when Kirishima looks down, stating that he had to get to work, they had barely come up with a plan for the wedding. Before I go, how fancy is this thing? I want to make sure I look the part, Kirishima asks. Katsuki notices that when he questions, the redhead will sometimes tilt his head to the side, kind of like a dog. It's cute. Real fucking fancy, Red. The idiot my friend is marrying is loaded. Katsuki realizes after he speaks that the personal trainer might not own a tux. Shit. They really should have used their time together more efficiently instead of fighting about comic book characters. He wonders for a moment if he could lend his fake boyfriend something to wear, but realizes the other man is much broader than him. Do you need a tux? My parents are designers. I can get one for you if you want. You can even keep it after that as a thanks for helping me out. Really, bro? Are you sure? I think I have a suit from my college graduation somewhere. I've never been to anything tux-worthy before, he says sheepishly. He doesn't want the guy to get nervous and back out, so he insists on getting something from his parents. It'll be more convincing if we're wearing stuff that coordinates anyway, he adds. Aw, baby, if you wanted to be matchy-matchy, you could have just said so. Kirishima laughs loudly, getting up from the booth. Katsuki blushes again, once again thrown off by his over-familiar fake boyfriend. He's so distracted that Kirishima is able to get away with giving his card to the waitress, paying for them both. Katsuki huffs, grumbling to himself before the two say their goodbyes. Time passes. Eijirou had a really fun time on his not date with Bakugo. Knowing it wasn't a date took the pressure off and made it a lot easier for him to relax. He liked teasing his fake boyfriend. It was cute to watch him react to all the mushy nicknames. Maybe the lack of real presence is what made him confident enough to lean over and peck the man's cheek outside the diner before they parted ways. Well, babe, I'll see you at the rehearsal dinner, he had said before leaning in to brush lips against his fake boyfriend's cheek. Try not to miss me too much before then, he said, scampering off to work before Bakugo could get too mad at him. Now, as he walks in, he doesn't have to even pretend like he's excited to get Tetsu to believe him about his fake date. He was genuinely pretty happy about the arrangement. Bakugo seemed like a nice guy, and he didn't mind spending time with him. And throughout his shift at the gym, he can't help but daydream about the wedding. He wonders if Bakugo's friends will like him. Will they think he's good enough for the blonde? Fake or not, he doesn't want to embarrass the guy he's just met. Though, he guesses it doesn't really matter what Bakugo's friends might think. Their relationship isn't real. He and Bakugo are going to plan a breakup after the wedding, so he won't have to see any of the people he meets again anyway. His thoughts are interrupted by his phone buzzing in his pocket. Bakugo, thanks for lunch, I guess. He had expected something fussing at him for the cheek kiss, not something sort of sweet like this. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me for Chapter 1. I hope you guys will be back for Chapter 2. And so if you do, I'll see you guys next time.